Hey guys, so as you can see, my normal background is not where I'm at. I am at my dialysis treatments, but I wanted to finish this video for you, so we're gonna do it here today. So we will start with full disclosure. I am not an attorney. I do not have a law degree. My degree is in crime scene technology and forensics. I've always had watching trials and true crime has always been a bit of a hobby. So I thought that I would make a YouTube channel so I could share it with you. So today we're finishing day 18 of Dr. Mack's testimony, and let's just jump right into it. So the Commonwealth starts right off the bat by asking Dr. Mack how he conducts his evaluations, what types of things is he looking for, and he basically responds with that he takes the totality of the information that he is provided and reviews and puts that into his conclusion, and that he makes it very clear that the purpose of the interview is not to provide treatment, and then is asked a few other questions by the Commonwealth. Let's take a look at that.
To say you review the entire criminal file too, right?
Yes.
And when you're doing these evaluations and creating a database of this particular information, are there any limitations to your opinion or evaluation?
I'm not sure how you mean that.
Well, when you have these evaluations that you're conducting, namely for criminal responsibility, do those evaluations, are they limited based on the information that you have? Meaning, if you don't have everything at the time you do your evaluation, is there kind of a caveat to your opinion?
Well, when I write an opinion or state an opinion, it is based on the totality of the information that I have. If additional information comes along, I am open to receiving that and integrating that into my understanding of the totality.
Now, when you interview the individual in these evaluations, the purpose of the interview or purpose of your contact with them is not to provide treatment, correct?
Correct. We look to see ways in which the individual has symptoms or signs of mental disorders or mental defects or psychiatric disorders. So in particular, one will start with trying to gather as much information as possible about what are the things that bother the individual. That may be their mood, that might be things that they get anxious about, that may be abnormal movements that they make. And that will also be aligned with understanding their medical condition, any medications that they take, any substances that they use. There's an array of information, sets of information that one gathers in that portion where you.
So he makes it very clear that he's assessing not just the symptoms, but the signs and symptoms, again, in totality, and looking for any evidence of a mental disease or defect. And that's the way that he assesses the individual. then they start talking about what stipulates criminal responsibility, and concedes that that's one of the central pieces of his assessment, is if somebody is suffering from a mental disease or defect. And then they continue to talk about what the standard is in Massachusetts. There are two different criterias in Massachusetts that you need to prove in order to prove criminal responsibility or lack thereof. And the prosecutor kind of goes, well, let's just see if we can break it down for the jury. And she proceeds to establish the first step of assessing criminal responsibility, to which, the defense objects, because at that point, she's effectively just reading what the standard is. And the defense, they want to know if Dr. Mack actually knows what those are. So he's like, well, let him say it. Don't you say it, let him say it. And then for some reason, she pivots immediately to asking him, if, what constitutes like a legal term. Does he know about certain legal and clinical terms? I don't know, but look at that.
Well, when we're talking about criminal responsibility, you'd agree that's the central issue, is the person's mental state at the time of the alleged offense, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So in Massachusetts here, with the question of criminal responsibility, are you aware of what the standard is?
Yes.
And what is it?
Well, it uses particular language based on the common concept throughout the country called the McNaughton standard. And I could read to you the specifics of the language, but effectively it refers to two pieces.
We can, maybe we break that down for the jury. Yeah. So the first part of this for criminal responsibility is the question of, does the person suffer from a mental disease or defect, correct?
Correct.
Objection to the leading. Let's see if he knows.
Yeah, if you just ask him.
I can rephrase
He's aware, and if you want to refresh his memory, you can.
Well, you've already testified the first part of the analysis, and I think you used the terminology mental disorder.
Yes,
right?
I did.
And you're aware that a mental disorder is a clinical term.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I apologize. What was that?
A mental disorder is a clinical term. The terminology mental disease or defect, are you aware that's a legal term?
Okay.
Okay. Well, so when you are conducting evaluations for criminal responsibility.
Is that an answer?
Yes.
Said,
I'm
okay.
sorry. Yes.
Yeah, all right.
When you're conducting an evaluation for criminal responsibility and you're trying to determine whether a person suffers from a mental disease or defect, do you look to mental disorders to see if that meets criteria?
I would evaluate if the person has ever had a psychiatric or a mental disorder. Effectively, you're asking questions about symptoms, and one is trying to understand not just symptoms, but the degree of impairment that symptoms might be causing an individual.
Okay. So tell us what psychosis means.
Psychosis is a form of thinking where the person has disorganization and also may have a lack of what is called reality testing. So the individual may not be able to engage in behaviors or activities or cognitive thoughts to check if a belief or an experience is real or not.
Are you familiar with the what's called command hallucinations?
Yes.
And what are those?
Command auditory hallucinations are a type of hallucination where you're hearing something and it is telling you of an expectation for you to do.
And are those things usually persistent?
It can be, it can vary sometimes. It can be persistent. Other times it can be sporadic.
Did she describe to you when she heard this voice?
Her experience that is called a voice occurred in the late afternoon.
Do you recall what she reported about the voice?
Her experience was that the voice was of a male and it was loud.
And what did the voice say?
The voice said to the effect of, you should kill the kids. This is your last chance so that you can kill yourself.
And what did she say happened after she heard this voice?
She engaged in the activity of taking her children's lives.
And she was able to describe to you how she did that, correct? And she first stated that she took Dawson down to the basement
Yes.
and then wrapped the exercise band around his neck and strangled him.
Yes.
And what did she say that she said when she did that?
She described that while that was happening, she was saying out loud, go to God.
And did she describe the same for both Cora and then Callan?
Essentially, yes.
And, you know, there again, that was just another display of the prosecution eliciting details from a witness that are really unnecessary. And it's seemingly being used to elicit, you know, emotion or anger from the jury. And I don't know. But so that was what he had to say on that. So now we get into cross-examination. And let's just say it is quite a ride.
Dr. Mack, part of your evaluation would be an intent to investigate the person that you're being asked to evaluate for purposes of an opinion regarding criminal responsibility or lack thereof for the district attorney's office, correct?
What do you mean by investigate?
You don't know what investigate means? You want me to explain that to you?
You might.
You're a psychiatrist that's employed by the district attorney, right?
Retained by, yes.
Oh, okay, so we're going to talk semantics. Isn't employed by, retained by, mean that you get money from it, right?
I'm paid for my time, yes.
Exactly. And normally I don't even go there. Every one of us are getting paid for our time. Jurors not so much, but nevertheless, you get paid for your time, right?
Correct.
I get paid for my time. The judge, Chrissy, Don, everybody gets paid for their time, right?
I imagine, yes.
So when you are retained by the district attorney's office, you are to evaluate an individual, right?
Yes.
And the individual in this case is Lindsay Clancy, correct?
Yes.
And you recognize her, do you not?
I do.
And you actually had a chance to meet with her and do your evaluation, right?
Yes.
This is any documents that she had a resistance to taking medication.
Only her description to me.
She didn't tell you that she was resistant to medication in grammar school and high school and college? What are you, making this up?
Objection.
Yeah, sustain. Next question.
She didn't tell you that.
I understand her to have told me that generally she did not want to be taking medications. She didn't necessarily specify in grammar school, but that is her basic.
College.
Yes, I think that her description was as a adolescent and as a young adult, she was not interested in taking medications.
You really have that written down somewhere?
I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I believe that that's what I understand it to
You
be.
believe that's what it is, you don't know whether you have it written down somewhere, right?
Can I refer to my
Read the
report?
whole report, I don't care. Because it's not there.
Well, on page 8, what I had written was, Ms. Clancy's reluctance to take medication generally was accompanied by her concern for medications entering her breast milk. So the general...
Breast milk, she's pregnant. Come on. That's the only time that she indicates that she did not want to take, except for benzos, medication because she was breastfeeding, right?
I don't agree. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but my understanding is that she described that she generally did not want to take medication,
All right.
benzodiazepines included.
Let's not guess, all right? Let's look at Dr. Mack's report, okay? Medication history. During the period before January 24, 23, she was taking several medications, and that would be Tufts and Gelada and all the rest of them, right?
Okay.
Is that right?
I didn't exactly hear your question. I'm sorry. Can you repeat it?
You said in your report, defendant was taking several medications that had been prescribed for her, right?
In the fall and December of 2022, yes.
So it's real easy. It's Tufts and Gelada that were prescribing these meds, right?
They were among the prescribers, yes.
All right. And her reluctance to take medication was accompanied by her concern for medications entering her what?
I believe it says breast milk.
Breast milk. Okay. So other than her concerns as a mother about her breast milk and having these drugs get into an infant's body, when else did she tell you that she was resistant, as you just told this jury, to taking medication? Like she's somebody who doesn't want to take the medication, doesn't care to take the medication. Where is it?
Overall.
Well, I didn't say that she didn't care.
Okay, how about if she was resistant?
My recollection, and I'm happy to, if you would like me to spend time finding it,
Prove
I'd
you're
be
wrong,
happy
I know.
to. What?
Prove you wrong. It's not in your report, though, is it?
Okay.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
It's always fun watching Kevin Reddington work. But he makes some very good points about it doesn't seem like this expert reviewed the medical records before coming into court to testify about them, which is another medical expert who goes to court and is not prepared. It's just kind of like this whole case has been just thrown together by the prosecution. It's just very shoddy. So we'll watch a couple more clips from the defense really going at Dr. Mack.
PDS.
You mean the Edinburgh?
Yeah, was she ever administered that?
I don't know if she was or wasn't. I don't remember.
Isn't that something you're in here testifying about this case? Wouldn't that be important to know that she was almost off the chart on the Edinburgh scale for postnatal depression?
Well, I have said that she had depression.
Well, postnatal depression for a woman who's pregnant or had a baby recently is a heck of a lot different than some guy who's just depressed about his job, right?
I don't understand your question.
Well, do you know what her readings were on the Edinburgh test?
Not to my memory at the moment, no.
Why not? You read the medical records, didn't you?
I mean, if you would like to show me, I'd be happy to.
I don't want to show you
review it.
anything. I'm asking you as a testifying witness for this jury, did you look at her medical records?
I did.
And the medical records pertain to her being a person that just had a baby, right?
I'm not sure that which records you're talking about, but can I finish? Can I finish? Can I?
I'm not going to finish. 2022, obviously, because we already talked about the summer, she was fine. When did she see Tufts?
She started to see Dr. Tufts in 2022.
You're in a mental institution investigating or questioning a woman who's on medication, who is there because she's and under 101 24/7 observation. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And you get the history from her?
Yes.
So did you talk to any collateral contacts?
No.
So how is it that you can tell this jury what her life story is? Did you get it from her?
I got it from her
What
to
did
the
she
extent
tell you
that,
about her
I'm
education?
sorry,
What did she tell you
what, can you
about
say
her?
your,
Never mind looking at the judge. What did she tell you about the education?
Wait, listen. You look over there and listen to the question and answer the question.
Can you say the question,
Let him
please?
answer the question.
What did she tell you about? I'm sorry.
Ask the question,
What did she
answer
tell
the
you?
question, and we'll go from there.
What did she tell you about her education?
And that pretty much concludes day 18. And now we will be moving on to day 19. And the cross-examination of Dr. Mack will continue via Zoom, but it will continue. So I will see you in just a moment. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of You Would Think. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And again, I will see you soon.